boy noticed the yogurt his father hadn't finished. He reached out to grab it, but his father quickly snatched it away. In a stern voice, his father warned him, "Never touch food that someone else has already eaten." The boy didn't understand. His father was actually protecting him. John was just an ordinary janitor. After the divorce, his biggest wish was to raise his son with his own hands. But not long ago, the doctor told him he only had 3 months left to live. The news hit him like a bolt from the blue. It felt like his heart was being torn apart. John couldn't bring himself to tell his son the truth. He could only spend the rest of his time loving him with everything he had. At the same time, he tried to find a loving home for his child. Soon, he found a wealthy family. They lived in a luxurious villa. The couple also seemed very kind, but before long, John realized they already had a child. That meant his son might be neglected, so John had no choice but to give up. On the way home, they passed a small bridge. John carefully asked his son if he would be willing to move to a new family, but the boy answered without hesitation, "I like our home the best." John fell silent. He had no choice but to return to the agency and keep looking for a suitable family. A staff member suggested he make a time capsule for his son to open when he grows up, but John gently shook his head because he wanted his son to completely forget about him. In his free time, John took his son to the park. He bought him ice cream. He wanted him to see as much of the outside world as possible, but whenever he saw other fathers raising their children, an endless sadness would rise in his heart. How could he tell his child that he wouldn't be around much longer? So he picked up a dead beetle and tried to help his son understand what death meant. But the young boy couldn't understand at all. He couldn't accept that his father would one day leave him. To make things worse, the next day at work, John suddenly had a severe headache. But his boss thought he was slacking off and fired him on the spot. Angry, John waited until his boss stepped out and smashed his windows with eggs to vent his frustration. Not long after, John contacted a second family. They all seemed kind, but they had already adopted several children. Even though they repeatedly promised to treat his son like their own, seeing his son's timid expression, John still chose to give up. On John's 34th birthday, his son personally placed 34 candles for him. Then he handed him one extra candle and promised they would celebrate together again next year. At that moment, John felt his heart shatter because this would be his last birthday. The mother from the third family had given birth to a child when she was young, but she had to give the child away because she couldn't afford to raise it. Later, she became unable to have children due to illness. Her husband also left her because of that, so she decided to adopt a child to keep her company for the rest of her life. Watching his son sit beside the woman and play, a faint smile finally appeared on John's face. But thinking that it was a single-parent family, he gave up once again, but his condition kept getting worse. The shadow of death quickly closed in on him. He went to a fourth family, only to find the man extremely stingy. Because the train model was too expensive, he refused to let the boy play with it. When they were leaving, he even asked for the toy back. John immediately rejected this family. On the way back, his son suddenly said he didn't want to be sent away. Hearing this, John felt even more heartbroken. If it weren't for his terminal illness, he would never give his son to someone else. Perhaps because of the stress, John's condition worsened even faster. His hands gradually lost their strength. The only thing keeping him going was finding a home for his